This person, last year in November, December, for the first time, awareness came into her life. There was an experience of present moment awareness. And since then, their life has been in imbalance between heaven and hell. There is awareness on the one hand, but there is a mind which does not agree and is afraid of losing this enchanted world. So the fear comes back. The fear is creating there's a lot of fear being created by the mind in relation to, I think, person means of the arising awareness. So the mind probably feels threatened by it. That's how I read it. So what to do? That's the question. That can be an egoic reaction. The ego feels threatened by the arising of awareness. It feels, and the ego tells you all kinds of things, that you're going to lose all the nice things. You're not, but all this is not true. They're just thoughts that come into your head. So you choose. Don't wait for awareness to arise. Now that you've had a taste of awareness, choose to be aware as much as you can by sensing the inner energy field of the body, for example, so that attention is taken out of the mind and you feel the aliveness that is in every cell of the body and hold that, but no effort is required. Just right now, we can all do it. Feel the aliveness that's in every cell of the body. And then your mind may still be doing something, but much less so. We can't really do very much because most of your attention is taken away from thinking. And then you will notice the mind will want to pull your attention back out of the body so that you can continue to think, especially at night. And any thought that arises in your mind it is helpful for you to realize it's no more than a thought. It's a fearful thought that comes into your mind. You are not the fearful thought. You are the space, you are the stillness, the presence that witnesses the fearful thought. So you don't have to believe what the thought is telling you. And this applies in some cases. People actually, now to have a voice in your head that tells you things is very normal. It's normal thought activity. But some people experience, and we call that schizophrenia, whatever, they actually experience a voice that actually talking to you. This can, of course, be very scary, a voice, but this is only an amplification of what everybody experiences, which is the thoughts that you can't stop, that go on and on in your mind, and that is the internal dialogue or the internal monologue or the self-talk, whatever you want to call it. And for some, that is still normal. Now, for some people, that becomes they hear an actual voice telling them, do this or do that. That, of course, is extremely scary, and that is usually, you then see a psychiatrist, and usually the psychiatrist would give you some medication because it would be called, is bordering on psychotic, and it can be extremely frightening. But even there, I would recommend, if you can not react to the voice and simply realize there's a voice and it's just like an amplified thought in your head, and you don't interact with it, you don't follow it where it wants to take you, you just say, there the voice goes again, and you're there as the presence in the background. Then you don't feed it. And the same with your thoughts. You recognize a thought as just a thought. Don't believe every thought that comes in. It says all kinds of things. So you allow it to be there as a thought. Then thought loses its power over you. You see that form of what is considered normal. When you take it a little bit further, you recognize that it's actually insane. For example, it's normal for many people to be distrustful of other people. It's normal for many people to suspect hidden motives in what people say and do. Very normal. And it's normal for people, after they've visited somebody and they come home and say all kinds of things about them, what they said, and all kinds of criticism. And so they're distrustful of others, suspect motives. And that makes up people's conversations often. And if you take it a little bit further, that becomes, you see people are following you in the street. And then you see people have, from across the block, you think they're looking at you with the binoculars. And you think the CIA has 100 people just to control your movements, and that's called paranoia. But if you see that distrust of others taken a little bit further, and it's always really fear is underneath it, intense fear. And when you misinterpret, and the misinterpretation of other people, very normal to completely misinterpret a person's intentions towards you, as they have bad intentions towards me, because you have fear. Perhaps going back to early childhood, you have fear about what people, you don't trust people, you have fear around it, so you suspect bad intentions of others. Of course, there are people who have bad intentions, but in many cases, it's a misperception arising from fear. If you take it a little bit further, then you have complete distortions of reality, where you have intense fear and you're interpreting things to explain your fear. In a dream, for example, if you dream of a monster wanting to kill you, and you're running away from a monster in the dream, feeling panic, and the belief is that the dream caused the panic. But usually what the truth is that the panic that you already felt caused the dream. So the fear that you feel, the mind, as you sleep, attempts to interpret the fear. So it attempts to find a story in order to explain the fear, but the fear has been there since your early life. Therefore, the mind creates a dream around it, and that seems to explain fear. But one confuses cause and effect here. The dream is the cause of the fear. The fear is not the cause of the dream. The other way. Sorry. Yeah. The other way, okay. The fear causes the dream. It's not that the dream causes the fear causes the dream. Okay, let's get it straight. And so when a person who suffers from paranoia believes that everybody is after them, then their fear, the mind is attempting to interpret what they feel and create a story around it. And so you create a fiction to explain, because otherwise there's no explanation for that fear that you feel. The mind wants to understand it. So it creates something that you think, now you understand. It's the CIA. I'm not saying that sometimes the CIA may not bug your phones. It could happen. But Or as the saying goes, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. So, just very briefly, coming back to the canvas, there's the canvas of awareness, and there's the painting on it that changes and shifts. So be aware of yourself as the canvas, and then enjoy all the stuff that appears on it. And let the canvas shine through the stuff, your thoughts and so on. And this is part of the spiritual awakening.